Let us read the developer's note. 22nd edition. Yongsuk Yu. In 2025, we are committed to proactively reviewing areas that require improvement. To begin, I'd like to address the topic of token acquisition. Sharing the status of currency acquisition review. Dang. So now they addressing it. We need to make more of these videos, boys. We need to make more of these videos. We've received numerous reports indicating a general shortage of currency necessary. Okay, yeah, I gotta say numerous reports, right? It has to be numerous reports, right? Can't be just like we saw recently. That's true. Recently, dang. Influencer. Here's the funny thing, right? It's not really recently. If you think about it, it's not really recently. It's been happening since like even after they did those patches. Yeah, it's been years. So it's not really recently. So why are the rumors reports happening? Just anyways. In particular, the scarcity of favorite item collection, item and collection item enhancement, as well as skill development materials has been a concern we've observed through various channels. Okay, there you go. As a fellow player who deeply cherishes Nikke, I empathize with these sentiments. Rather than addressing these issues with temporary value adjustments, we're taking this opportunity to comprehensively review the overall currency acquisition structure. Yeah. Currently, we are conducting evaluations and implementing adjustments across various acquisition sources and content. Our initial focus will be improving simulation room and overclock. Despite being primary avenues for obtaining skill development materials, these two features have often felt lacking rewards relative to the effort required. Therefore, we plan to implement an increase in skill development rewards by mid-April. You know what's funny is the overclock was meant to be the solution to it, because I remember this. You guys should remember this also. It was like back in Red Hood. I think it was like during Red Hood, that first anniversary with Red Hood. That's when he said it in like a developer talk that he was like running out of resources also, and the whole point, he as in like the director said it in that video that he was also lacking resources, and the overclock was meant to do that. There is no way in hell that they did not know that it's still not enough, because like they release and they never stop releasing new characters every 2 to 3 weeks, right? Every 2 weeks essentially. We're getting 2.5 characters every month on average, and to max out a single character even with overclock takes 42 days. Before overclock, it was like 54 days or something like that, right? So they never really solved the solution, the issue, because they're constantly releasing new characters, and then like our skills are just not enough. Yeah, he just build only meta units. Yeah, clearly, like, you know, we have all these characters and we just never had any resources to upgrade them. And yeah, it's not just the skill books, it's including the collection. They did introduce making it easier for rocks, which is definitely 100%. That's like way better, right? The meta shifted heavily with how people invest on units because of it also. Because now there is a lot more prioritization on getting like better elemental, even if you just do 777 on like across the board on skills. But if you have, let's say, a 777 80% 60% elemental of a proper new DPS, like for example, right, Bready, I just gave her like she's like 777 and she was at like 60% elemental, and she was out damaging a strong neutral. So it did change kind of how people are investing, because imagine this: if we never had the anomaly interception, the rock resources, people would actually just not even like really entertain that as easily, even like just minimal investment with like proper elementals. Right. But now everyone's 10-10-10. The 10-10-10 is not a matter for top 3%. So like in terms of like being able to competitively compete, it is a lot, it makes it a lot easier for you to competitively compete if you have the character, and then even just like minimal skill investment, 477 or 777, or a little bit mix of 4 and 7s on the skills. But then if you have a decent amount of elemental on the DPS, then those are gonna get you a lot more mileage, right? And rock, we went from rock income going from about on average say like 5 a week, I would say, to on average, instead of a week, sorry, the number that I have with Conto is like 100 rocks per month, the anomaly interception. So I guess like from 20 rocks a week, a month, to 100 rocks a month. So the rock income is just way more. And just to give an idea, that 20 rocks is, I would say, on average probably gonna, it just, I'm trying to remember, just like with so much Nikkes that I have been upgrading, right? I would say between 20 to 40% elemental. I mean, if you get lucky, maybe 60% tops, but 20 rocks is like 20% to 30% averagely elemental. And I'm just trying to think about it. Yeah, it's pretty expensive. 100 rocks, to give you an idea, is about, I would say on average you're getting like a 60 to 80% elemental on top of having a secondary stat at the very least. So like 8 out of 12 ideal lines plus or minus, and that's like just focusing on one unit. That you can split that 100 rocks into 2-3 units to be serviceable. So it's just the rock anomaly was like a lot bigger improvement in that. But when they introduced that rock, they added collection. So now like people there's a different set of like whaling that people are doing, although technically the real whales are still purchasing things, the rock still in the cash shop. Anyway, there's additional extra doll refreshes. In case you guys didn't know, you can get more dolls exp if you keep refreshing, you know, get the 5 stars in the dispatch. Additionally, slight adjustments. So I did kind of slightly see this because like my guildmates were telling me about it. Slight adjustments will be made to solar raid rewards, acquisition rates for favorite item, collection item, maintenance materials will see modest increase. Furthermore, the upcoming solar raid Hall of Fame, tentative name, content is being designed to offer significantly more maintenance materials than before. Our goal is for the Hall of Fame, tentative name. I mean, Hall of Fame is not bad, but typically Hall of Fame is more talking about like the previous like legends, right? So to serve as a rewarding space, providing clear compensation for players' consistent efforts. We also plan to expand the acquisition of equipment items. However, considering that the recently updated anomaly interception is a key content for equipment supply, for each boss offers distinct parts, we believe it's necessary to review overall experience of this content. After determining the most appropriate enhancement, we will provide detailed guidance. I do think I agree a little bit on this in terms of, and I know it might not be as much for the veterans, but it is a lot more apparent for the newer players that the anomaly interception is a bit restrictive, because there are some bosses where it's just harder, or like they don't have the units, and really you tackling the different bosses kind of makes more sense if you're like a lot stronger, because you have like different elements and stuff. But newer players don't really have that luxury, and so they're trying to get this like particular piece to get stronger, but to get that piece is like they're not being efficient at it because they're using neutrals. It is a little new player unfriendly. When addressing the currency acquisition issues, we're particularly mindful of diverse content preferences among commanders. Given the wide array of content in Nikke, it's understandable that engaging wide array. So I just want to comment that a little bit. It's like it's not really that wide array. If you think about it, you're not really wide array. It's not really wide array, okay? Okay, I'm just gonna be real. You guys put in every freaking like event or other event your mini games, right? Like, yeah, you keep developing that shit, but there's literally you're just doing solo raid every other, yeah, every month, and then union raid every month. Get the hell out of here in terms of wide array, because yeah, once you guys get into, once you're probably like month 3, right, you're in that loop, you're stuck in that loop already, and the simulated reward simulation is like repetitive now. Then maybe you're struggling still in overclock, but once you reach that, like those breakpoints, it ends up becoming just another chore that it's not really wide. It's understandable that engaging with all of them can be challenging. Therefore, our future improvements will focus on enabling currency acquisitions through various avenues, reducing reliance on specific content. Yeah, okay. For instance, we plan to increase, how about co-op, something like that, right? Plan to increase opportunities to obtain favorite item, collection item, skill development through UI events. So that's kind of like GFL, where they did like, the, or like, yeah, Genshin or Honkai tend to do that to UI, like web browser events. That's what I would assume what they mean by UI events, something like that. Weekly missions, I don't like the web browser events though. I feel like it takes you out, so I don't know what they mean by UI events exactly in this context. Additionally, upcoming new content, especially surface content, is currently in development. Will also provide avenues to acquire these currencies. Yeah. Okay. We ask for your understanding as we implement these gradual improvements starting in April. Rest assured, we will continue to closely monitor your experiences to ensure more enjoyable update gameplay environment. All right, chat. Like, listen. You guys need something complained about. We gotta make a, listen, we need some YouTube videos, right? Regarding rerun past costumes, we would like to inform you with the current reruns of past costumes. Moving forward, past costumes will be reintroduced through the costume shop as limited time sales. However, respect the purchases of the commanders who acquired these costumes during their initial release, there will be a period after the initial launch during which reruns will not occur. We appreciate the understanding for this matter. Okay, that's good. A lot of people wanted to get back to the Alice. Oh my god, where's your Alice? Oh, still, out of all of them, this is the best skin still. Like, this is my number one skin here still. It's so comfy. It feels so darn comfy. Number 2 is this. It looks pretty. Is very nice. Very nice. And I like this one too. I like this one. Oh, great. It's great. Once a certain period has passed since their initial release, if a past costume reappears in an event story, it will be available for rerun sales during that event period. Yeah, okay. So, like, based on the event. Okay, I get it. Kind of like the Drake during the Maid event. So, that sounds like you guys might have to wait at least like a year for the rerun. I could see that, but I mean, waiting a year for a rerun's not bad. It's know that not all past costumes will be featured in event stories. For those that do not, we plan to schedule separate limited time rerun sales. This approach aims to provide opportunities for various past costumes to be reintroduced. We look forward to seeing these offerings. I mean, I get it. FOMO, things like that, just makes people buy things. Personally, I am more in the line of putting it for cheaper price earlier on, and then after that limited time, just put it in a higher price. That's my take on skins. Like, initial sale is like cheap. We acknowledge for the rest event, litter cute sunflower costume was not rerun. This oversight was due to insufficient preparation regarding our rerun policy. We sincerely apologize. Oh, this one. Kuni enjoyers were sad they did not get this. We're currently preparing this rerun costume in April. Okay. Oh, thing, then the Kuni enjoyers start rejoicing now. Insufficient preparation. They said regarding the rerun policy. So they have been deciding what to do with the skins. It's not that it's difficult to add back to the shop. It's just that they don't know what policy they're gonna start doing. Additionally, we are reviewing the rerun policies and schedules for other costumes beyond past costumes. We'll provide announcement through channels once these plans. The thing is, like, they did it for Drake, and honestly, it made sense. Oh, the Maid Drake. Okay, just rerun it during the Maid event. So, like, I don't know why did it. This kind of shows you how, like, kind of slow they are in, like, decision making. It takes them, like, okay, I'm gonna talk about it later, but Champion Arena update announcement. Let me explain the updates on March 27th about the Champion Arena. This simulation-based PvP content is accessible to commanders who have achieved top ranks in existing SP Arena. The system has been implemented with the start of Special Arena season. March 27th, commanders will earn eligibility to participate in the Champion Arena based on their season results. I think this is stupid. Again, like the top ranks requirement, because, like, for example, there are some people that are just like, they are really strong, and they can be, but the issue is, like, there's 4 more others that are just bigger whales than them. Keep in mind, like, for example, Konto is in a bracket where he actually loses in terms of levels just because he's 620. Okay, just for that perspective alone. And there's others that are 606. There's 4 others that are 660 and higher. It's not easily achievable, right? Unless they decide to make SP Arena level cap, then it's gonna be completely unfair system. And it feels, and that's the issue, right? You could have someone that just enjoys PvP. They've been enjoying duking it out in PvP, right? Like at level 10 and stuff, because or the position 10. I know there's there's tend to be like a lot of people duking out at like Challenger 10, Diamond 1, Diamond 2, and they're locked out of Champion Arena, which I feel like, you know, that's something that could be enjoyable. Enjoying PvP, that's true. It's not really that fun anyway, so it's actually not fun. So to be fair, it's a shit ass mode. So actually, yeah. Who am I asking? Who am I saying someone's enjoying PvP? I'm sorry, excuse me. The best inaugural season of Champion Arena is scheduled to begin April 10. We extend our best wishes for success to all participating commanders. For those who primarily enjoy PvP content, we hope this offers an engaging and rewarding challenge. No, it's not, because again, there's people that they enjoy PvP, but they just can't because of their bracket. Again, stupid freaking sentiment. I don't agree with this. They need to reconsider this personally of how to do it. Did they read what they write? Probably not. We added a feature allowing separate Harmony Cube slots for PvE and PvP content for the latest upgrade. That one was actually not bad. This enables you to save different settings tailored to each type of content, streamlining your battle preparations. Additionally, we receive a lot of feedback expressing concerns that the cheering feature in the Champion Arena requires costing credits, discouraging players from participating. Yeah, dude, we can't even use credits. Like, we're running credits right now. What do you want? We plan to improve the system so you can earn rewards without consuming Reddit. This change is expected to be applied starting for second season, late April. I don't understand. Because, okay, one thing, you know, this is also why I think that they're out of touch. Any reasonable player that are actually like playing the game like for long periods, right, and actually participating, trying to upgrade units alongside upgrading their accounts levels, are gonna notice that they are starting to run out of credits. Now, some of you might say, oh, but I have a lot of credits. Okay, actually try like playing the game and like upgrading things. You are gonna run out of credits, right? You upgrade your gears, upgrade your levels. Yeah. And this, with the decision going like, oh, let's use credits to cheer, it just really shows how they don't really like played their game in a like normal players level. And the thing is, I you know, I can't blame them, right? Developer, there's a lot of people that are developing the game, and but they don't necessarily like play the game in the as a normal player, and so they don't really see this like, you know, oh, let's just dump like credits or resources on this, and or they have like a dev account, right? So this just really shows to me, and really this also like just the whole champion arena thing, like the top four really just shows how they are out of touch of like a normal player's perspective, which is a little it's a little annoying. It's a little annoying. That's why it's beta season, so we can forgive. Union, okay, I was gonna talk about it because they addressed it here. Okay, yeah, they did address it here. Okay, so I'll talk about that. Holy because Union Raid had the beta, we gave feedback, and they never changed it. Well, they're changing it now, but we were already out of beta, right? So like, what the hell? And then also freaking the overclock. They didn't really take feedback from it. Yeah, overclock had 0 changes. So it's like they just that beta just never made any sense, because it feels like they're not taking feedback from the beta. They're taking feedback after like, oh, it's officially out, and then like once people start really complaining a lot more. Beta flesh face. Oh yeah. That reminds me of like these games that are just like extending their early access plus for like 2 years. Furthermore, we are digitally preparing major content updates to this, including surface-based content. I'll also provide enjoyable experience for all commanders. Your campaign and Union Raid content, convenience update announcement. We would like to inform you about upcoming improvements to the campaign content to reduce fatigue from repetitive battle and enhance the ease of tracking collection elements. Can you do the hard mode skip also? Although like maybe the thing is, okay, actually never mind, we talked about it. The reason why they don't put skip on hard mode is because of there's technically competitive aspects still there. There's the rankings. The hard mode campaign has like rankings, so I could see why they're not doing it. Reduce the fatigue from competitive battles, enhance the ease of tracking collection elements. 2 new features will be introduced in March 27. First, a quick battle function will be added to normal mode main stages, alleviating burden playing through campaign content. Second, a feature allowing you to view the acquisition status of lost relics at a glance from campaign chapter list will be provided. Okay. My campaign is actually 0 out of 19, 0 out of 17, 0 out of 14, 0 14, 0 14. 0 out of 6, 0 out of 6. We hope this enhancement will make it easier for you to enjoy the main story while reducing inconvenience in campaign content. Alright, here we go. Lastly, the previous changes made to Union Raid rules have ensured greater convenience, but we are not entirely satisfied with the results. You are not satisfied with the results? You're sure? Or people have complained and then complained about, and then, because I don't understand how you did not understand this. Hence, a second round of rule adjustments will be made in May. I just have a really huge feeling that they don't even like involve themselves in like the active guilds in their community, right? Like personally, I would like, you know, have an account that is like gonna sneak into one of these guilds just to see how they do things. That's my take on it. You know, obviously just not overpowered, but you know, you do your thing, right? Still, as we are still working out the details, it is difficult to state the exact changes. However, currently when participating in Union Raid hard mode, each Union member will have the flexibility of choosing which boss to target without having to wait for specific order. So here's the thing, okay? So I think they're waiting for what I will tell them so then they can start using it. So here's the thing, okay? I get it that you do want. All right, so hear me out, Chief Up, right? Okay, so you, start taking notes now, okay? So so you still want like the coordination, right? I get it, but then there are some guilds that don't really like heavily coordinate. They're just like, okay, hit this, hit this, hit this, or just do your hits, right? Right. I had two other guilds. Well, I have three guilds. One is that you know, competitive slash semi-competitive, and there's two that's casual, but they're casuals, but they are top 46 and top 50 in NA. All right, so there's your credibility check that I just wanted to point out to you real quick. All right, you know what? Let's show it real quick right here. There, here we go. Right, so I have these guilds. Okay, so just in case, and I consider the top this 46 and 50 casual because the way we do our hits is literally just like go do your hit, whatever. That's it. It's like for the top 46 and top 50, we just tell them like, yeah, hard mode is up, go do your hits. Nobody's waiting for anybody actually. So actually they are one of the few where it's actually they probably don't feel the burden too much. But the thing is, like, it does, as the for NA in particular, the higher levels, you know, they want to start min-maxing. They want to make sure each person, you know, hits like with their correct element or something, and so they don't want to hit the same units with their neutrals, right? So yes, make all bosses available. If you want some level of coordination still, you can keep that like carry over where you're hitting doing a killing blow and then they will carry over, because there is still some form of coordination with that. Maybe so in terms of Princess Connect, technically they have a lot more levels scaling, so but then they allow you to progress to up to 2 levels ahead. So I'm just gonna talk about Princess Connect first, but if you're gonna keep it differently, we can make readjustments, right? But for Princess Connect, it allows you to go up to 2 levels ahead, which means that if you're at level 1 and then you kill one particular boss at level 3, if your lowest boss that hasn't been killed yet is still at level 1, you cannot make one of the boss be at level 4. They're stuck at level 3 until the lowest level gets killed from level 1, and then, you know, the lowest level of next boss is level 2, then they can start hitting the level 4 for that other boss. So that's one way. There's still some coordination there because people that some guilds, okay, you hit whatever element you want, but there's also some form of efficiency for the top guilds if you really want to coordinate that. Now you could do it where also you don't have to go further levels instead, but maybe just make sure that all in that same level has to be killed. So there's still some form of coordination there that is necessary, but then once all bosses are killed, then they can move to level 2 and then all bosses are available again. That's one thing that they could do. There's still some form of coordination there, and it will show for those top guilds. So I know that you guys mentioned before on the other previous Union Raid that you want to have some form of like level coordination, because if all bosses, and someone did make this point out, if all bosses are just all available with unlimited HP, yes, there are going to be some people that are just going to start padding on like one boss. And yes, there is that separate level of coordination there, but like, for example, everybody's gonna have a really strong electric. That's just one thing. And so your damage is gonna be heavily padded in there. So I can see that showing like less coordination in it, because they're just gonna say, okay, everybody just hit like electric on one. So I could see that. GFL, the gunsmoke, personally, GFL's gunsmoke was nice. The way they set up gunsmoke in GFL is, personally, I like it. However, I don't like that it's 7 days, but having to hit the boss with 3 different buffs, and then you coordinate that, there's some level of coordination that some people try to figure out, like what's the optimal teams. Personally, that should have been just like 1, 2, 3 tops days, but they understand already. More than 1 day is too much for Nikke players. I think it should still stay in as just like essentially 1 day. The week long, I don't like it on GFL. It's a gunsmoke. That's my only thing. The rotating buff is kind of nice. It's very interesting. And personally, here's another thing. I think we should be allowed to borrow a unit from a guild member. I think we should be allowed to borrow 1 unit per team from a guild member. And maybe they would level sync to yourself. Sure, I could see that. But there's the overload and like rest of the upgrades. That's just another thing. But that's too much for Shift Up. They're just a small indie company. They probably have are struggling for something. Yeah, I do think that a support system, level sync it, that's perfectly fine, but that would be awesome. The only thing that might suck is like maybe everybody will start borrowing crown for every team. I could totally see that. Team 1, they would use their own crown, and then team 2, they borrow crown. Team 3, they would borrow crown. So I honestly, I could see that happening, though, to be fair. It would definitely also change the structure of things, but honestly, it's more fun because you got that one guy that's just like has this really strong unit. Yeah, we got ultras with SBS. I do think that maybe it would level sync to yourself would be awesome. I personally think that level syncing to yourself is not overkill, and because like think about it, how broken would it be if there is someone that's like level 880, right? You have the 880 and everybody just borrows his SBS. Okay, just for an idea, I believe from like 500 or level 600 jumping to 800 is like 2 times the stats already, and that was from 600 to 800, maybe 500 to 800. I can't remember which one is which, but in any case, right, that would be crazy. Anyways, I don't know, just spitballing some extra ideas for Union Raid, but yeah, this is the right direction. But let's be real here. I said this at the very, very beginning when they talked about hard mode, and whenever we were talking about hard mode on stream, okay, there's no way they didn't. They're only after 4 months, 3 or Jesus. In closing, Goddess of Victory Nikke has undergone numerous improvements over the past 2 years. At the heart of all these changes have been voices of you, our commanders. Each of your opinions has been the driving force propelling the game forward. We are committed not only to listening to your feedback, but also earnestly implementing it. Our dedication remains steadfast in continually enhancing Nikke, ensuring that each day brings a better experience than the last. Additionally, we have prepared a variety of events for April. We hope you find them enjoyable. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to all commanders for your unwavering support of Goddess of Victory Nikke. We look forward to your continued engagement and enthusiasm. You want guns from Kagan and Nikke, everyone else borrows ED. No, the thing is, like, in almost all Not all, but there are definitely a lot of guild content where you're fighting a single boss where you can borrow someone from your guild. So it's like it was kind of just weird that Nikke doesn't have that. Personally, they probably know that infinite leveling and borrowing system isn't a good mix for their revenue. Yeah, and that's why I added the restriction to level sync it or something. But yeah. But knowing shift up, that might be too much for them. Small indie company.